A very warm welcome to everyone to today's Leader in You Lean In Circle. In today's session, through the book Culture Code, we will be taken on a journey that will reveal the secret ingredients that make teams and organizations successful. And just to give you a hint, the secret ingredient is not having the smartest people on board. Before we move into today's session, I will quickly walk you through the upcoming offerings by Grow with Satori. Right around the corner, which is as close as tomorrow on May 28th, we have a guild session on using metacognition to drive learning transfer. This session is for L&D professionals, facilitators, instructional designers, and HR professionals to ensure that learning is sustained beyond the training rooms and long after the session ends. May I please request Akansha to keep sharing the links in the chat so that if you are interested, you can click on those links to register. Thank you. Then on May 29th, we have the fourth session in our series, Once Upon a Leader. This time around, we will be exploring the Gurukul way of living and learning and reflect on how learning environments shape people, behavior, and growth. And of course, what modern workplaces can learn from the Gurukul way of living and learning. On June 10th, as part of a Learning Guild session, we have the session on Ask Like an Expert AI powered probing for L&D professionals. This is by Ruchi Tandon. And in this session, you will learn as to how, as L&D professionals, you can leverage AI to ask smarter questions and design real business gaps so that you're able to design learning that creates impact. On June 13th, we have an in person workshop in Bangalore called The Flip Side: How Your Greatest Strengths Become Your Blind Spots. Now, most of us are taught to lean into our strengths, but every strength has a flip side. And under stress, the very qualities that help us succeed can quietly turn into blind spots that affect our decisions, relationships, and effectiveness. And this workshop will help you recognize when your best qualities tip into blind spots and what to do about it. Fifth in our offering is the workshop Emotional Regulation Under Pressure, Your Internal Control Panel. Now, great leadership is not about staying unaffected, but it is about staying regulated under pressure. This workshop, Emotional Regulation, will be facilitated by Ishita on 22nd May from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. And it will help leaders understand their emotional responses, make better decisions, and create calmer and more effective teams. And finally, in October, we have a wellness workshop tour in Sri Lanka. Now, this is a deeply immersive experience bringing together learning, reflection, emotional well being, and conscious living and travel. We are very excited about these offerings and the opportunity that they'll create for meaningful growth and leadership development. And if any of these conversations excite you, we'd love to you to join us. And now, turning our attention to today's session, we have Ishita who will lead the session. Now, Ishita has spent the last 16 years working with leaders, teams, and organizations to drive both business and human growth. What really stands out in her work and something she proudly calls her USP is her ability to align teams deeply with organizational culture, ensuring that performance and values move together. And facilitation is a space where she truly comes alive. A POSH certified trainer, she brings thoughtfulness and responsibility into every space she holds. We are really looking forward to the reflections and insights, Ishita, that you'll spark for us today. Over to you now.
Thank you so much. I mean, I can do sessions every day just to hear that from you. Thank you, Asatri. I'll quickly share my screen to start with. So, today's book that we are going to discuss is The Culture Code by Daniel Coyle. Oh, sorry, I think I have shared the entire thing. How do I stop sharing now? Stop share. Yeah, just bear with me. Let me share the screen and then we can quickly get started.
Hello, Sneha. Warm welcome.
Hmm. Yeah, do you all see my screen now? Lovely. Yeah, so today's book that we're going to discuss about is The Culture Code by Daniel Coyle. He, in this book, talks about the secrets of some very successful groups. Um, as we move to various sections of the book and what the author has shared in from his learnings, from his research, we will also pick up a few things here and there from another book by David Coyle cause, called The Leadership Code, where in this book he basically shares what is the trait of a highly successful group, and in the leadership code he shares about uh, what are the how to reach and gain those traits as a leader. Yeah, so I've picked up some snippets from even that book to share with all of you. I haven't read that book completely, but then yeah, I surely have flipped through the pages to understand his examples, what he's trying to say. With that, I'm going to quickly take you through a video to share a little more about the place I belong, the place whose culture has inspired my learning, my growth, and that's that's my team. That's the place where I work, Grow with Satori. A little bit about us that will help you understand where we stand today and on in what spaces we work around. So here we go. Thank you so much for giving your time to listen to it, to read it out. And uh, like I was mentioning, that in today's session, we will not just understand what great teams do differently, but we will also understand how you can do it too. Yeah. In a nutshell, the author defines this the traits of a successful teams into just three easy words. Uh, but before that, I would love to understand what is what do you understand by culture? Do you see my screen right now?
The wordings are very tiny.
Oh, I did say something needs a refresh. Huh, now it's better.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Restart PowerPoint and open the add-in again.
Mhm. Bear with me. So I'm going to share a QR code with you, and I would love for you to share one word uh, that 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 you relate with the word culture, or you can just let go alone the word cloud. You can share it just like that. What is that one word that comes to your mind when you think of the word culture?
How everyone thinks and behaves in an organization, the norms, the agreements, unset agreements across people in an organization. That would be culture for me.
I loved when you said how uh, people think and behave. These are very intangible ways to understand what culture is. Lovely. Yes, Akansha.
so according to me, culture is like air.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see it, but you feel it. And like, the AQI, the air quality index, is going to like that. So if you quantify it like that, the better your culture, the more easy for you it is to breathe in the organization, collaborate in the organization, and how you all achieve your goal. So that is how I would define culture.
That's a lovely example with the air quality. Lovely. Very nice, Akansha. Anybody else who wants to share what is their meaning or their understanding of the word culture?
Is it, can we put it like, is it defined way of or defined pattern of behaviors that we need in an organization?
Mm-hmm. Patterns, yeah, yeah, very well thought. Yeah. Let's understand how the author defines the word culture. Yeah. He defines culture as not who you are, but something that you do every day, which also means that a belief of a person can be anything, but what it brings together in common spaces, in a common group, is what adds on to the culture of the group. Yeah. Let's take some inspiration from Mother Nature because about culture, about the groups, to understand where are we today and what the Mother Nature actually is trying to teach us. Yeah?
Ever looked up in the sky and seen a perfect V shape of birds flying across the sky? It's mesmerizing, isn't it? Each bird moving in a rhythm, part of something larger than it itself. It looks effortless, but it is not a coincidence. I'll tell you what's actually happening in there. In that formation, every bird benefits from one ahead of them. The lead bird faces the full force of the wind, breaking the resistance into the rest so that others can glide with ease. But when it tires, it comes back and another bird takes its place without any arguments, without any ego, and certainly without a need for an applause. It is the trust and a shared commitment of making sure that everyone is moving forward. Now imagine if team works that way. If leadership meant knowing when to lead and when others can rise. If success wasn't about who is in front, but how we carry one another. Remember, the best leaders build teams that don't collapse when they step back. They get the rhythm within the team, the trust, the shared strength and goals, so the team keeps flying, keeps thriving long after the leader rests. So the next time you see that V in the sky, remember, they make it across the oceans not because one leads perfectly, but because they lead together. And that's what true leadership looks like, with steady wings, shared wins, and a journey no one makes alone. If this message resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more thoughtful and inspiring content, and share it with someone who might need a little lift today. See you again. Until next time.
Yeah. So that's the way of Mother Nature teaching us about a culture. While watching the video or while understanding what the birds are doing at that point in time, while they were gliding together, what do you think about a group's culture? What do you think about a team's culture, that team's culture?
It is about stepping up as and when required.
Stepping up as and when required. And what makes a person feel that I need to step up when it's needed?
Responsibility, accountability, that shared goal that we all have to move from Siberia to India, whatever.
Lovely. Responsibility, accountability, and a vision, a clear vision towards the shared goal. Anybody else? What did you notice special in that group of birds or flock of birds?
A constant space and pace so that there is no clash which will be observed in group. Also, it'll go in a harmony.
The harmony, yeah.
Hmm.
What actually brings in harmony? What do we think that brings in harmony within a group?
Accepting all of them.
Beautiful, accepting. Lovely. Asavri.
Each bird was supporting one another to move towards the same vision, the same goal. They
Absolutely.
worked as a team.
They worked as a team. And the clarity of the vision or the goal, the end goal is very clear to all of them. And that's why they don't have to talk much to collaborate. They don't have to ask each other. But it's a way that they all know that this is time that the bird in the front is getting tired. Okay, let me step back. And the other birds take over. Yeah. In this group, what I understand from what we all shared, they all are well connected with each other. They know when it is time for me to step back, when it is time for me to move forward. Um, they are sharing, they're even sharing some information among each other about with using their communication modes, various communication modes. They're also um, they have a common vision or a common purpose or a common goal which allows them to move forward towards one direction. Beautiful. With these reflections,
Ever
I would love to share what the book talks about, something very similar that what we came up with. The book talks about the three learnable skills that anybody can learn to build that culture within teams. The first one is build safety. The second one is share vulnerability, and the third one is establish a purpose. Yeah, build safety is more about creating an environment where people feel safe to speak. They are safe to confess that they have failed, and they also feel safe to connect with each other. Sharing vulnerability, which would also mean um, we before I, even sharing uh, that thought that okay, I am not sure, I don't know the answer to your question, and things like I need help, I don't know about it, I was wrong about it, which also shares a lot of vulnerability. And the final one is establish purpose. Make the why very, very understandable, easy to understand, repeated, and embedded in everyday discussion. Many organizations use a lot of values posted on their walls, but then sometimes they forget to use those values within day-to-day conversations, day-to-day interactions, and that's what this books talk about. Yeah, we'll discuss these three learnable skills one by one. Going with the first one, build safety. Is there any memory that you have, or any experience that you have, that you would have felt that somebody has built a safe environment for you or for somebody else to be open to share emotions, to share um, a thought? If not, let me first show you a video. Uh, Probably the video is about what not to do to build a safety. But yeah, this will give us some ideas to think and to connect with our lives, to with our experiences, to come up with some examples. Yeah. And I'm playing the video now. This is from the movie The Devil's Wear Prada. You shared a heart trip with. Have you seen this movie?
Yes, yes, I love this movie.
Do you remember this scene?
Yes.
Mhm. I like this scene too. Okay, pause it here. Yeah. A quick question. How was the work environment in this workplace, in this office?
High tension, stressful, edgy. I
Mhm.
can go on.
What triggered it? She's a peaceful woman, just walking in with her stuff, and yeah, never showed that she doesn't like something. Somebody was wearing high heels instead of flats. And I was like, what did she do to make her wear high heels? Um, doesn't show up in the video.
She
Um,
sets an example of what she wears, how she dresses, uh, and somebody is missing an appointment by a few minutes, tell them I can't meet them, or 9:30, drop me in 9:40. So that precision seems to be her need, um, that the team is executing.
Lovely, lovely. Akansha.
So the environment is an extremely stifling environment to work at.
Mhm.
Everyone is afraid of her. Like
Yeah.
like the character Emily here, she's apologizing to Miranda. So she says, I am not interested in your incompetence. So
Mm.
that statement enough is enough to say that I'm not going to tolerate whatever you tell me. This is what I want, this is what I want. End of story.
Yeah. The
So
constant need of precision, and this is what I want, and this has to be there.
yes.
Nice, nice. Now imagine, guys, if this was your workplace, yeah, and for some reason your opinion differed from the dominant voice's opinion. What would be going on in your head if you want to put forward that thought, put forward your opinion in front of the lady boss we have, Akansha?
So instead of telling her something or confronting with her, I would be like, rather start looking for another job and move out.
Yeah.
Because
What
I've heard
is key
this.
here?
Sorry. Yes.
Sorry, Akansha, please continue.
So I've heard this and read this, and do believe this very strongly also. People
Mm.
don't leave bad jobs, they leave bad managers.
Uh,
And I feel it is very true,
mm.
because a job is something that you can detach yourself and do it, but a manager is a human, so you're interacting with a human every day, and you need that human to kind of understand you.
Mm.
Yeah,
Right, that's a human need um, to socialize, be with each other, to understand each other. That's a human need. Nicely put, Akansha. So coming back, if you had to put a differing opinion in front of this woman, what will be the things that will go on in your head? Will you be scared? Will you be worried? Will you be thinking, how should I put it across? Yeah,
very scared.
very
Not
scared. Yeah,
just scared, very scared.
yeah, probably you will spend, if you have to put your differing opinion, you will spend lot of time, lot of unnecessary time just to prepare. if she says this, I will say that. If she says this, I will say that. So your guards are always on, which reminds me of the scarf model. It is triggering every possible trigger um, of some putting someone off the guard. Yeah, and this is probably one of the biggest reasons that many people don't speak up. Many people don't want to share their thoughts. Many people don't want to contribute their opinions for the common growth. Yeah, Akansha, you raised your hand.
No, sorry, that was previously.
Okay, okay. Yeah, which brings us to
Oh my.
understanding of um, what will be the one thing that can make somebody feel that I am safe to speak up. Shanti ma'am.
Vulnerability, showing that I am speaking up, I am sharing, I am showing up in terms of I am not fully capable enough, I'm not fully equipped enough, and make it a common place to talk about imperfections and failures. When the leader does that, I think that trickles down the organization that it's okay to fail, it's okay to say that I didn't do it to the best of my capability. It becomes more palatable.
Lovely, lovely. Somebody else have raised their hand too. I can't see you. Srividya, you raised your hand.
Yeah. Um, so I had experience both where I had a manager like Miranda, and also in last team I had a manager who made me feel safe. So the first thing which I noticed is giving a space to openly talk without being judged. That created a very good space for me to build trust. And then main point I would like to highlight is, not when we talk something personal, it stays with personal and as a person. It doesn't go and align with the work what I do. So there are many people who uh, assume or be judgmental about the person, like this person is like this, so this person might not be able to do the work. So
Mhm.
doing work doesn't always have to be attached with the person who that person is, or what personal things that the person has shared to you, right? So this created a lot of difference between my my first manager to my ex manager. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
beautiful,
feeling
Srividya.
included and not being judged by that person itself will create the complete safe space, I would say.
Absolutely. It's a big, big thing to know uh, that a person is not his actions. Beautiful share, lovely share. And you would notice, Srividya, in the reflection that you shared, the example that you shared, there is no one particular moment when you would have realized or you would have thought in your head, now I trust this person. Trust is something that builds over time with some consistent tiny moments, tiny signals that comes every day, every minute. And that's how we look at trust as a human. You unmuted yourself, Srividya. You wanted to add something there.
Yeah, also I would add a point. It also depends on the actions that we observe from our manager after we have spoken out. So it's not, I agree, it's not a one day thing that we can say now I start feeling safe with you, but yeah, it's a gradual process. And mainly what that manager acted out on the ways of work that created it was a gradual increase of trust. So yes.
Agreed. Agreed. Very right. That's how trust functions. Yeah. And yeah, Akansha, you raised your hand.
So just adding to what Srividya said here,
Mm.
sometimes the manager portrays that they care a lot,
Yeah.
but they don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that is even worse.
Mm.
Either you're strict, that's fine. Either you're, caring, that's of course wonderful. But this,
Mm.
where you're trying to show that you care a lot and, then you manipulate because you know these inside information, as Srividya said, these personal information that we've shared with our manager in trust,
Mm.
that becomes extremely, um, I don't have the right word, but a very negative environment. A very negative environment that you would be like, no, this is definitely not going to work out.
That looks like completely not to do what the author talks about in the book. When somebody shares their vulnerability with you, do
Yes,
not use that information for your betterment. It has to be only used for the shared purpose, shared vision. Um, you brought up a very interesting point, Akansha. What, and this is an open question to all, what are a few things that can make us feel as a group, as a team, um, that the trust that they are somebody is trying to build, or the a leader is trying to build, is not a genuine one. The expressions that I see is not a very genuine one. The conversations I'm having are not very genuine. What are those few things that may trigger you that, okay, there's something not okay? I'm not able to join the dots. Shanti, ma'am.
Lack of coherence between what they are saying and what they are doing.
Mm-hmm.
When they don't match, uh, for me, that I'm not able to trust that leader.
Mm. Lack of coherence. What else? What else would that? Akansha, please unmute yourself and let's have a talk about this.
sure. So for me, it is these snide comments that come you know, in
Mm.
between a work meeting where you pass a comment like this, oh, because you're married, I understand you cannot take care of this. My married status
Mm.
is not defining who I am or what I am, what am I doing. It really does not define anything. And
Mm.
I've seen that a lot actually, where people have said something in confidence, and during a work meeting, if they've missed out on something, oh, you
Mm.
are doing this because this is the kind of background that you come from, or this is the problem that you're facing. I think that
Mm-hmm.
becomes a very, very big red flag
Yeah, it
that
does. It does.
I told you something in so much confidence, and now you are using that to say that this is why my performance has gone down, or whatever it could be the reason that I've missed out on something on my performance, anything.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Agreed. Um, so what I'm hearing here is probably lack of coherence between what they are saying and what they're doing is it could be a trigger that the picture that I'm seeing is not the right picture in front of me. It could be using some unrespectful examples or personal information to just portray that this is the reason, or assuming a lot of things using the personal information, what Akansha mentioned.
Yes.
Anything else apart from this?
And along with that, also, if you are bad mouthing any one of the other employees to me
Hmm.
or to
Hmm.
anybody, that means
Hmm.
if you're doing it about that X person to me, I'm sure
Hmm.
you would be doing the same about me to the other Y person as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a very big no no.
Probably that's the biggest trigger that breaks the trust.
Yes.
Um, if somebody can do that in front of me, then why not in front of others?
And that too when you've probably just been in the organization for, let's say, 2 months or so.
Hmm.
Then, I mean, if you are a very long term employee and you have been a seasoned person in the organization, where you've developed that kind of trust and you want the other person's opinion, that, I am dealing with something like this. What is your opinion? What should I do? I think that's a different scenario.
Yeah.
But when you're new into the company and, things like that are coming up, that's not nice.
Certainly, certainly. They certainly break the trust. And this reminds me of an example. I was shadowing one of the managers in one of the previous companies. I was trying to take the handover from this person so that I can start uh, within a couple of weeks and so that his resignation can be expedited. Um, so he had a very interesting way of talking to people. I don't know how he was earlier, but if a team member has come, so he's working on his laptop like this. A team member is standing here. I hope you can see my hand. A team member is standing here. Sir, I need a leave tomorrow. And he won't look at the team member. He will continue to look at the laptop, keep working, and he will keep talking constantly. Typing doesn't stop. The conversation doesn't stop. And he's like, why do you need to leave tomorrow? My mother is sick. Just cooking up stories. I don't remember the conversation. He says the team member says that my mother is sick, and he's still looking at the laptop and saying, um, "Can you take a half day or something? Take your mother to the hospital and come back." And the whole conversation happened without the manager looking at the team member. And I wonder what the team member would be feeling about it. He was sharing a very personal information about what is happening in his life, that he need a leave tomorrow. And although he's entitled to a leave, he is still sharing that information, making himself vulnerable. And still, there is no signal to build that trust that, okay, I am there for you. Your work will be taken care of while you are away. Um, Probably what we discussed right now, if we just flip it the other way, we can come up with something that we should do to build highly engaged teams, high performing teams. Yeah, some of them I have included from some examples of the book are eye contact, looking at the person, physical inclusion, handshakes, um, uh, unhurried attention, somebody giving you time, leaning towards you, talking to you, looking at you, and then understand, trying to understand your position, repeated interactions, not just once, once a month. No, it has to be constant, continuous thing. And recognition and gratitude are a few more things that the author talks about to build high performing teams and creating that culture of high um, of the teams who are high in culture. Yeah. Now these are very few signals, or a very very small, or very intangible signals that usually the high performing teams give or exchange every single minute, not even a day, not every day, not every month, but then every single minute. And they trust each other to an extent that they feel that, yes, even if I'm falling away, if I'm falling from the cracks, the other person will handhold me. That level of trust is built. Akansha, you raised your hand.
I just wanted to understand here that, let's say these all are there:
Hmm.
the eye contact, the inclusion, the unhurried attention, interactions, recognition, and gratitude also in front of the team, or let's say everybody, that is there. But even then, as as ma'am said, there isn't any coherence, because these things are there. Even then, I feel like, no, there's something wrong with the culture that is being built,
Yeah.
despite of having these everything, like,
Mhm.
just suddenly screaming, you have done all this, but then you
Mm.
suddenly in a team meeting you scream
Mhm.
at the employee,
Mm.
where you value the employee, at least you say you value the employee, and
Mm.
you've made the employee feel very special, etc., etc. But then, because something got missed out, you scream at that employee. So then all this gets invalidated
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think that it is right for you to scream at an employee in a team meeting. Forget about in a team meeting. Even personally, you cannot scream at a employee. Just giving an example here, the clip that you showed of Devil Wears Prada. So if you see Devil Wears Prada 2, I don't know if anyone has seen the second movie here. So Miranda changes quite a lot in the second movie. She's evolved. And she has an assistant who's constantly reminding her, no, you cannot say this because it is, sexist, or you cannot say this because it is racist, or it is classist. So her, uh, her EA is constantly being like, with her eye movement saying, no, can't say this, no, can't say that. You're body shaming, you're doing this. So she's constantly telling her, reminding her. So just like that, the same kind of scenario. You cannot do certain things even if you're doing all this.
Yeah, I agree with you. There are two ways to look at it. Yeah? A similar example that David uses in his book, where one person, he used some examples from the US military, military or navy, I don't remember it very well, but so he says that there was one person who was uh, caught doing something not appropriate or what was not approved by the authorities, and it was a common understanding that this is happening and the things they were doing, that was all fine. It was something regarding the movement of arms and ammunitions from one place to another, and apparently there were no approvals that they really needed, and something went wrong, but it was done in all good intention so that they can save themselves and the ammunitions that they have stored. Of course, when the authorities got to know about this, the authorities did ask for a court martial kind of a thing. And when he was asked to show his reasons why he took that decision of what he took, the whole team was standing right in front of him, saying that we want to answer you on your behalf. We want to testify what you did was just the right thing to do to save our lives, the country's betterment, and everyone else. And this is one trait that the author talks about having, where even if one person is not being or following the culture of the team or the group, the other comes together to bring him again, not to make them solitude, but then probably bring them together, that this is what we believe in, this is who we are. You're more than welcome if you can follow this culture code that we have. Follow, understand us, respect us. We are happy to discuss differing opinions, but we also want to ensure that this is all staying respectful. So, uh, coming back to your example, Akansha, it has two sides to look from. Uh, Either the team can step up to support in these cases, or if even if not that, then probably the person can tell them that are you actually following what we are supposed to do. I don't appreciate, maybe not be in a group, maybe one-on-one, or one-on-one discussion about was screaming really required at that point in time. Are you supposed to scream at me? Probably clear open conversations usually bring people down to their feet, and they can put their cards on the table. What is required to stay within this group or the culture, and what could exclude them from that group, from that culture.
I do understand, but then I think apologizing in private is not going to, you know, mend things.
Mm-hmm.
You are screaming in front of everyone and then you're apologizing. It's not like I want the apology in open. That's not what I'm saying here. But then you can lose your cool once, and understandable, you've lost your cool for whatever XYZ reason. But you cannot keep doing that. Then it becomes a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
That
We
acha
have,
theek hai, first I'll shout in front of everyone to show my dominance, and then I'm going to put ointment later on in private. that, I am sorry, I did not mean to shout at you, but
Yeah, probably this is one of the examples of what not to do while you're trying to build a culture for a team. Absolutely, Akansha. Asavri, you raised your hand.
Just extending from Akansha's conversation, I think her understanding of culture is one more layer deep, where right now what we see on the slide is more the tangible and the visible to the eye part of the culture. But what she's talking about is the intangible part of culture, where there are no
Hmm.
words to it and
Right.
there is no way to gauge it. I think probably it's now a question of intention and mindset.
Yeah, very rightly pointed.
I
Very
think there are
rightly,
two aspects to culture then, tangible and intangible, visible and invisible.
rightly mentioned. That was very nice. Thank you. Um, Probably with the examples that we have shared and with the examples that the book talks about, we have a fair idea about what we can do, and we have enough idea about what we should not do to add on to a team's culture or a group's culture. Yeah, and probably while following these, I mean, if you see the tangible points that the author talks about, they do have one common thing. If you among all these things, if you bring the eye contact, bring the recognition, gratitude, give unhurried attention, have repeated interactions, and physical inclusion, it all brings to the same feeling of for the whole team that we belong to this place. They all merge towards the same thing of belongingness. Do we know what belongingness actually mean? Anybody? You can share what you understand about belongingness.
I'd like to share what I normally share when I'm doing any DNI workshop.
Hold on. That will be the last one.
That is
I know what you're going to tell.
okay.
Hold on.
I think being there for one another
Being there for
as a team,
yeah.
so that if somebody is slacking off or is requiring some assistance, any kind of help, then be there for each other. And I'll tell you the positive side of having a bad manager. The team is very collaborative and coherent with each other. They
Mhm.
are always there for each other, always. Because they know that they cannot rely on their manager, they will do everything for each other. They'll die for each other, just so that any of nobody is pointed out. That is definitely a plus side of having a manager like that.
This reminds me of a TED talk that I was watching. So this person who was being interviewed, he was asked, "So where did you get the inspiration from?" This and that. So he spoke about a toxic work environment where he was in, and how it made him realize what not to do in life. He can do anything, but this. So right, nice. Anybody else? What is your understanding on belongingness or sense of belonging? If not, Shanti ma'am, let's hear your example.
So people ask what is the difference between inclusion, diversity, and belonging. So we'll start with diversity. Basically means being invited to a party where we can have different kinds of people. That is diversity. But just having the people is not enough. Inclusion would mean being invited on the dance floor. That would give the sense of belonging that people are caring for me, or there is respect for who I am to be on the dance floor. Belongingness to me means you can dance like nobody is watching. I don't care. I don't need to be invited to be able to dance. So I love this sequence when I talk about belonging.
That is really beautiful. Yeah, so belonging, as the what the author shares also in this book, is the concept that reflects an individual's perception of having a social support, being accepted by a group of people or a social community. In his simple words, he explained belonging like this: being accepted and his own perception that I am feeling safe when I'm here. Yeah. Now, which brings us to a fun thing. I'm going to play a video for all of you now. You have to pick up the belonging cues that you find in that video. On for it? Lovely. Yeah, and here comes the video. Have you seen this movie? Wall-E?
I love this movie.
Oh, me too. My
I love
favorite
it.
movie too. Yeah, let's get started, okay? Find all the belonging cues. Yeah, I'll stop the video here, the pretty long one. I would love to hear from you. What are some of the belonging cues that you noticed in this clip?
Sharing
Sharing.
and trying to understand what the other person can do and then share.
Mhm.
That
Okay. Coming to where they stand and then sharing what they would need or they may need. Beautiful. Being each other's back. Anyone else? What else did you notice?
Along with sharing, there was repairing of the cassette so that they could watch that video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also how comfortable Eva was. So Eva is the white
Hmm.
robot, and the other one is Wally. So also how comfortable Eva was in doing whatever she wanted to do in
Hmm.
her own way. Whatever she knows, she's doing it according to that. And she's feeling comfortable doing it. So I think that also gives a sense that she is belonging in the house of Wally.
What makes anybody feel that I can do this? Specifically, the example that you just gave of Eva, that she was open, she was comfortable.
So, for example, the spin, he's
Hmm.
spinning in the dance. And of
Mhm.
course, she is aware of her own, strength as
Mhm.
a robot. So she's aware of her own strengths, but she's spinning at a very high speed,
Yeah.
and she knows that something might happen, but she's still doing it.
Yeah.
Whether you want to call it in the fun of it or in the moment, she's still doing it. So I think that is what I mean when I say this.
Mhm. Probably that's what she knows. That's what she have been doing until now, and she's just following the pattern.
Hmm. But she's feeling comfortable to do it.
She's feeling comfortable to do it, yeah.
Even though she's seeing that he is doing it in a different way or in a different speed,
Mm.
she is doing it what she knows.
What she was. Yeah.
And she does not feel the need to adjust according to the way Wally is behaving.
Mm-hmm. So true, so true. Now tell me, if there is Asaf, you muted, unmuted yourself. Sorry, I just saw it. Now you muted yourself.
I was turning on the video and I unmuted myself.
Okay, all
Please
right.
go on.
So now I wanted to think of something, or if you picked up something from this video that you would like to try on.
A couple of things that I had noted was encouraging to try and experiment and see what happens. Having fun together. To me, that also signaled belonging. To say that it's okay to fail, okay, something broke, it's okay, let's do the next thing, move on, not stay with it that okay, something got broken. And I did not see any enough or any boundaries for either of them. I will
Yeah.
try to involve him or her once or twice, and if not, if they break, then I won't. Nothing was that. There was
Mhm.
no boundary or enough that I saw. And
Yeah.
that enough is what I would want to really try. That I don't think there is ever an enough. I've tried enough to grow this person. I've tried enough to give this person feedback, or I've tried enough to teach this person this. I don't think there's ever an enough.
Mm. Mm. This doesn't work, let me try this. This doesn't work, let me try that. There's a
Yeah.
constant motion that I will continue to do this, something will click. Yeah. Which brings us to the next skill that the author talks about. You even in this clip, the robot, the smaller size robot, his name is Wally. So this robot is doing a lot of things. At the end, he proposed the white color robot to dance, and he got thrown away because of the speed while she was going round. He was pretty much vulnerable. He was opening himself up. He was sharing his own things. And that was the biggest belonging cue that I am sharing what I have with you. That's the biggest belonging cue that anybody can share with anybody else. And in multiple examples from the book that the author shares, he talks about sharing to what you have. You don't have to go that extra mile, because that will be then, if you do that additional thing, it will be an added responsibility on your head, and which will eventually put you back. I cannot do it anymore. However, if you make it like a habit of offering, sharing things to whatever you have in front of you, and sharing it with the people around you, or the circle, the community, the group that you are a part of, that itself is more than enough to start with. Akansha, would love to take your question.
So just from the clip, one thing that stood out to me, um, where he has given her, popping that we have that sheet bubble wrap. So
Mm.
he's given it to her, right, to try it. So he like the drivers that we had, the driver example is what I would like to give here. So probably his driver is try,
Mhm.
let's try. And her
Okay.
driver, yes, she had fun the first time, but then she's a do it fast. So you go ahead and see, and then she's like, she's just popping it completely. So she's like doing it fast. So how they have different drivers, but then they still want to be together,
Yeah,
despite of having completely, opposite drivers. One is try hard, the other one is wants to finish. So that also did stand out for me of the aspect of belongingness there.
that's interesting. In fact, for any culture, there will be a group of people or a couple of people who will be the first one to bring that openness, bring that vulnerability. And even in the book, the leadership code, not the one that we are talking about, the culture code, but in the book leadership code, um David Coyle specifically mentions it's a good idea if you are a leader, you may want to share your vulnerability more openly, more often. We'll talk a few points from the book as we move on in this session, and yeah, we are going to cover this part as well. Yeah. So sharing the vulnerability, I I I hope that we understand that vulnerability is the stage that of being exposed to any possibility of harmed, hurt, being attacked, or something is damaged physically, mentally, digitally, emotionally. That's the feeling of the of vulnerability. Yeah. Coming back to what Akansha just mentioned, um, uh, the myth that a leader is perfect, that they know it all, that they can never make mistakes, hold many people back. Forget about leaders, it hold us as human back from learning new things. If we don't make mistakes, probably we may not be able to learn. It having difficult conversations stops us from giving regular feedback to people. Um, we are often carried away by the emotions that uh, by the emotions of anger, distrust, um, or faith, and just blindly trust the situation or what is in front of us. However, this is not how actually it works in highly engaged teams or a teams with high in culture. A leader would the teams usually always openly acknowledge their mistakes, that yes, it's okay to, and plus it's okay to make mistakes, it's normal to admit that there was something incorrect that was done. They also openly share their challenges, what is the problem that they are facing, and invite solutions. If I don't know about the solution, if you know, please do share. Yeah. Even the highly engaged teams, culturally engaged teams, they also ask for regular feedback. How did you like this? Were you happy when I mentioned this? Did you like how I said this? They also have open conversations like that. Yeah. With that, we had although some of the reflections where we spoke about where somebody shared their vulnerability with them, and or maybe a leader that you were talking to and they said, I have no clue what you are talking about. I don't know in which way we are going to go ahead. Would love to hear your experiences, how you felt. Did you have that level of experience? um, Not just at workplace, even your caregivers, your parents, your grandparents, any moment where you have felt that, oh my God, is that possible that they also don't know something? Would love to hear your thoughts on that.
I probably keep admitting every second day I don't know, but I've also seen that in several organizing teams. Last time could be as late as last evening, last night.
I'll share something. You, Shanti ma'am, being my boss, the first time I heard her say, I don't know, I'm not sure. Only when we try it, we will get to know. And I was like, how is this senior person not sure about it? Is that possible on this planet? And that opened a lot of horizons for me because my boss told me that I don't know until we experiment this, until we try this out. I took it as a responsibility that, okay, let me try it out in the best way possible. It, if you look at it in another way, sharing vulnerability by a leader can also help teams being more accountable, more responsible, and eventually, um, even if there is a mistake, they would know that, okay, I have somebody who will back me up. I know that there will be somebody who will trust my intention, even though I have made a mistake. And that is very important for having a culturally engaged teams. Thank you. Anybody else who wants to share their experience What do we feel when people say, I think I have made a mistake, or I have made a mistake? What do we feel?
I think if someone, especially, higher up, is saying that to you, it gives you the courage to make mistakes. That's one thing. And
Mm.
also makes the other person, let's say, a little more, makes you feel a little more humanly connected to that person.
Yeah, it feels
That,
like they're like me. I make
yes,
mistakes. They
yes.
also make mistakes. They're like me. Very nice. Feels
So
humanly connected.
when you were telling this example of, of your previous, one of your previous managers or something,
Mm.
I don't have a manager perspective on this, but more like one of my school teachers. She was a
Mm-hmm.
mathematics teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and so she was very friendly with us. And if she would not know a sum, she would not say that, I'm busy right now or something like that. She'll say, oh, nice sum. I also don't know. Wait, let me try and come.
Mm.
So then it would make me feel like, okay, I don't need to be a know it all. Even my teacher does not know it all. She's going to try and she's going to come back.
Exactly.
I should also try.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever she would say something like, oh, nice sum, I
Mm-hmm.
would understand ki, acha, this is a difficult one. That is why she's saying, oh, nice sum.
Yeah.
So she also gave me the view or lens that when a challenge comes up, you should say, oh, nice, I have not done this. So I will
Mm.
learn something new. I'll get to know something new. So she also gave
Nice
me that
perspective. Yeah.
perspective. Yeah.
Very nice perspective. Right? Probably these are the impacts that we as leaders can see on the team when we share our vulnerability. And like some of the examples that we just discussed about, it humanizes the connections. Um, when leaders admit their mistakes, they say that I don't know. Statements like I have made a mistake, I don't know, I am not sure. They they are also creating a space where others, when they make a mistake, can openly admit, they can openly share um, that they have made a mistake, and they will know that they are psychological safe, that they will not be judged for their mistake, for not knowing something. Yeah. So one act leads to another, which eventually leads to trust. If a leader opens up for being vulnerable, he opens up human connection, he opens up, uh, he or she opens up, creates a psychological safe environment. People are happy to reciprocate that openness among each other. Yeah, which eventually adds on to a lot of connection and promotes accountability. Next, I'm going to share some best practices. Yeah, Safi, please go ahead.
When you model vulnerability, you're also making room for others to share their inputs. And when that happens, and especially when you're solving a problem, you make room for perspectives that you wouldn't have thought of.
Very nice. Yeah, absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
encourages fresh, new, and
Yeah, it
forward.
encourages inclusion, inclusion of thoughts, inclusion um, of different perspectives that are coming from different directions. Very nice. Thank you. Srividya, you raised your hand.
Um, so recently, when yeah, you know, um, I was in a discussion with my superior, like my supervisor, and I clearly, it was depending on some work related topic, and I could make out that that person did not know. And from the knowledge what he had, he tried convincing me that this is how it's supposed to be. And I stepped in to say that no, I have had her earlier experience, but we can do it this way also. But he was so rigid on, accepting that he didn't know or there was a knowledge gap. How do we deal with such people?
Interesting. Anybody who wants to, um, who had a similar experience, would love to know how you dealt with it.
Shivita, can you share your question once again?
When your superior is, when you know that there is some knowledge gap
Mm-hmm.
that the person is having, but
Mm-hmm.
they fail to acknowledge, rather, they stay rigid about their decision. They stop being open to what we are about to say, and they stop being, they don't accept that we know certain things more than them. How do we deal with such people? What should be my response to such situation?
I think, just thinking aloud, I think we have to be very explicit about the impact that that lack of knowledge can have without making it about them, that it is because of them that if they don't fill in the loop with this particular knowledge. Am I coming across clearly? Because I'm thinking as I'm speaking. So the idea is to um, clearly state out the impact and also give them the pleasure of choice, that if we do not do this, then this might happen, without naming that lack of knowledge to them. I think that would help.
Hmm. Having a shared purpose, the
Yeah,
the outcome that both the people are looking at.
yeah.
Of
And instead
interesting.
of pinpointing that you have forgotten to include
Hmm.
this point, just saying that maybe this is a perspective to consider,
Hmm.
the consequence it can have.
Yeah. Is it also a good idea in such cases to ask some questions? What do they feel? Why Sri Vidya's idea may not work? Is there something that they foresee? Have they tried something out?
Yeah, that Ishita, asking questions, I did try.
Mm-hmm.
So I openly put up few questions asking, why do you think this might not work out, or why do you think it will not work? I'm open to all the answers, was my response. But yeah, that manager's response was like, because I know, that's it. So there was no justification saying like, I could see that uh, his experience in the past might have put him in a state where um, it is always expected, a leader should know everything. So, and whenever there is situation comes where you do not know things, it would lead it will automatically make him think like, oh, it's a failure and we shouldn't accept failure. Maybe that's my the thought that hit my head when I was in that situation.
It's also important to understand from um, somebody else's point of view. A lot of what we are seeing, what we are understanding from the book, talks a lot about empathy too. When somebody is trying to build a culture which is highly engaged, empathy is the first thing. Meeting people where they are. For all these successful groups that Daniel Coyle interviewed, he did mention that they did face or meet people who were not as per how their group was, their community teams was. But eventually, because they continued to do what they were doing within their culture, the other person either got influenced or got moved away because he could not fit in. And this is something, I don't remember the exact word what he mentions in the book, but he calls this something related to the magnet. If you are related to this, you will be accepted, or else you will automatically move away. We will not have to do anything for that. Would love to hear others' thought too. I will go one by one. Who raised their hand first? Uh, Akansha?
So, just listening to Sri Vidya and then after that Asavri also, I'd like to share one incident that had happened um, with my husband in one of his team members. So, the team member, so let's say X and Y, there are two people. X is reporting to Y, and X had come up with a plan because they have this idea generation every quarter. They need to come up with ideas where they can save the hours. So that's an initiative that they have. They need to save the hours of the organization. So X came up with a plan, and Y said that this is my plan. X said, no, but it is my plan. And Y was like, how can you come up with a plan? Because you are just 3 months into the organization. So it is my plan. So Y could not accept that somebody who's junior to me can come up with a plan like this. So I
Hmm.
think sometimes it is even that fact that someone who's junior to me is coming
Yeah.
up with something better. Acknowledging that is very difficult. As humans, as Srividya also mentioned, that probably does not want to see that as a failure, but also acknowledging that someone who is younger to me, someone who is newer into the organization, is coming up with something which I did not think of, but I see that it is valuable. But now I don't want to acknowledge it that it is valuable, or probably just brush it off that you cannot come up with it. Now, coming to this solution aspect of it, trying to build to what Asavri said, I think sometimes it also helps in bringing in data driven concepts into the picture to show that the data says that something like this is going to add value to our company, to our organization, is going to help save time. The impact aspect, yes, but making it data driven rather than emotional driven. So
Mhm.
if it is data driven, it becomes more objective in nature. There is no you don't know thing does not come into the picture. It's just like data is saying this. What do you think? Can we try it? So this is just my 2 cents on it.
Thanks. Coming up with data-driven um, facts, how it adds value. Shanti ma'am.
Speaking purely from experience, when I've taken data to a leader who it's not about logic, when it's about ego, the data doesn't sit well with them. They completely dismiss the data, the source of the data, the timing of the data. This is US data. So they'll find their reasons to just dismiss the data. What has worked, and I'm going to be upfront here, is to put the manager in good light, not say something like, oh, that's a brilliant idea. And I was wondering if, and let them present your idea, if we could also do this, that'll add on to what you're doing. That was a great idea. So somehow their ego is not hurt in terms of, you didn't know even this, I have a better idea, or I am talking to you from a space of logic and rational and you're not able to match up to it. Works better with leaders if they're not very open. And I always present it tentatively. I was thinking if this is possible. I'm wondering if you can do this. Uh, so then they will take the, why not? Was an idea. I was wondering if you can do it. Like, yeah, we'll do it. Come. So, it becomes like they are making the final decision and they're very happy with it.
This called something, this phenomena is called something. Um, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Shanti ma'am. Thank you for the share. That was pretty interesting way. Srividya, what would you like to do next time?
Okay, as I said, the first thing when I started asking open-ended question, how it ended is this is not my call. This is my superior call, and I don't think he would agree, was the response. So that was a hard stop for me to take it further.
Hmm. Probably you may want to take the blended approach of Asavri, Akansha, and Shanti ma'am.
True, true.
Take some data. Don't, if you know that it is about ego, don't hurt the ego. Just let them enjoy the ego that they are coming up with. Uh, the intent is, the shared goal or the purpose that you are reaching out to that person is get your idea, get your project approved. And if it gets approved, why not?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Thank you for the lovely reflections, people. And let's move on to the some best practices that ideally we have all spoken about while we were sharing our thoughts, our examples or experiences. Yeah, some of them are understand, prioritize the greater good over the personal feelings. Uh, what if Vidya goes there, tries to show that I am vulnerable, I think, maybe I'm wondering. Yeah, at the end, she's getting the work done. Um, be open to difficult conversations. Remember personal details about team members, greet them happy birthday, wish them a happy anniversary, ask them about their family, if they have taken a day off or something, and offer support and encourage learning from mistakes and establish a safe space for authentic conversations. Yeah, it is also, with all this, it is also important to note with all the discussions that we are having, um, that you may not get everybody on the same page, believing the same thing, believing the same purpose, but what they are doing or how they're interacting with each other, that's what the author talks about. Um, Creates highly engaged cultures. At that moment, how you are engaging with somebody will help create that culture. Yeah. Moving on to the final skill, and I think in most of our examples we have spoken about this. Try to keep the focus on uh, the the final goal, the end goal, the purpose that all of us are coming together. Yeah, and that can bring the teams together. That can even help the emotions like ego, anger, um, sad, happy, all these behind, because the shared goal is all above them. And what he mentions, what David Coyle mentioned in his book and from his findings, that purpose is not a statement on the wall. It's who they are and their understanding of why I matter within this team. And this has been picked up from the leadership code, where he wonderfully shares about how to bring that purpose um, among the team. Yeah, with that, let me ask you one question. Um, Apart from your work, what matters about things that you deliver?
The
And
impact it's creating.
Give me an example, Shanti ma'am.
So I had people who've written to me 2 years, 3 years later that, you know what, the workshop we attended that day, I learned this about myself, or I learned this particular tool or methodology, applied it, and this is what changed. I treasure all of those.
The impact that you create, beautiful. And that is not your job role, or that is not your work. It is who you bring, the value that you bring, Shanti ma'am. Am I correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. We all are women. I need two examples from each of you. Women add a lot of this right now.
Satisfaction, self satisfaction we will have.
Mhm.
Um, yeah.
Okay. So with your presence or with whatever you do, you bring satisfaction to people. Am I correct?
Not just that, I am
Mhm.
satisfied that the other person is benefited. What what
Okay.
what work I do,
Mhm.
like the help what I have given to the other person,
Mhm.
that act satisfied me as a person.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's it looks like a two-way thing to me right now,
Yeah.
that I have given this, given or added a value, so I can get the satisfaction that I was able to add a value. That's really pretty. That's really beautiful. Thank you, Shivitya. Akansha. Just don't raise your hand, just speak, unmute and speak.
So, when I used to teach, and I still sometimes get messages from my ex students, it's been 4 5 years now, and
Mm-hmm.
they are, in different stages of life. They are, someone's becoming a lawyer or something like that. And even when they send me messages, they credit me for being a very important and integral part of their journey. So that mentorship that I've provided them, and that, even after so many years, they remember me.
Mm-hmm.
It could be, probably something small that I have done at that point of time which touched them, where,
Mm-hmm.
I just reminded when ma'am was saying. So one student of mine, she was moving to Canada permanently, ex-student, of course. So she was going to do mass journalism in Canada. So she was moving. And it had already been 3 years at that point of time that I had left teaching her. But she was like, she reached out, her mom reached out that no, she's very adamant that she will not leave without meeting you. So, whatever time of the day you have to meet her, she's not willing to go without that. So, things like that, these instances where I, uh, and I truly believe that if if we can add some value where beyond work, I know we all are doing jobs, different jobs, but beyond our job roles and responsibilities, if we can touch someone's life
Mm-hmm.
in any way possible, the kind of satisfaction that gives, the meaning it gives to your life is something very different.
The impact that you bring. What, give me an example of an impact without, leave your modesty aside, and then tell me something, an impact or an example that would have impacted your student.
Okay, so I'll take this girl's example only.
Hmm.
Um, so see, when you're new and you're teaching, right, and you have your own coaching center that you've set up and everything, and unfortunately, okay, it's because it's all females here. I'll not be apologetic. So the world is very sexist. Okay, they believe very strongly that a woman cannot teach maths and science
Hmm.
because we are not uh, logically inclined towards those subjects in comparison to men. I do not believe that. Absolutely do not believe that. But this girl, she used to study with me when she was in class 8. 9 onwards, her father was that no, she cannot study maths and science from her.
Hmm.
She needs to go to some other teacher who's a male. I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Up to you entirely. And she left. But in class 9, the first term or something, I think it was the second term, not first term, the second term that she was, her exam was the next day. And her mom had called me up almost on the verge of tears that she is crying. She is not eating for the past 2 days. She has her exam tomorrow and she cannot understand anything in maths and she's going to fail. Can we do something? Can you please help out? I said, yeah, sure, okay, why not? Then I called her to my place. I taught her there the entire day in my house. Then she went with me to the coaching center. There I again continued teaching her through the night. At 8 or 9 o'clock something, her mom came and picked her up. And I'm not saying that, she just magically did wonders, but at least she scored a 45 out of 80. Because a person who's crying and saying that I'll fail is getting a 45 out of 80. Her mom and the student herself, Sakhi, that was the name of the girl, they were very happy about it. Even then,
What
because
might
her
have
father,
done,
yeah, sorry.
Saki? What you might have done, knowingly, unknowingly, probably, that she really, really wanted to come back to you.
So when she had come to me in class 8, she was a very, uh, I don't know why, but most of the students are very afraid of maths. I don't understand why. Probably I am not, so I don't understand the reason why. But I tried to help her a lot. I tried that she should overcome the fear that she's facing, and I would make conscious efforts towards it. I would not scold her or anything like that. That was never my style of teaching, anyways. It was not towards anybody. But then I think somewhere she developed that comfort with me, where she would open up on matters which are not only related to the studies, but even apart from that. And that is the kind of relationship I have developed with most of my students, ex students rather, where they feel comfortable to come and tell me anything that has happened in their house also, where they will
So,
tell me कि mummy ko samjhaiye. So I'm like, no, I can't do that. You can tell me, but I will not go and do mummy ko samjhaiye. That I'm not going to do.
so
Yeah.
if I understand you right, you create a space for the students to feel vulnerable and speak openly. The psychological safety that you gave to them to speak openly that I don't know, I have made a mistake, or please teach me. I want to learn things like that, and that's what teams with high purpose are all about. The clear purpose of going towards one goal. Um,
Yes.
they know that they are safe even if they make mistake, even if nobody is going to judge them, even if they share their vulnerability. They are openly trusting each other. The communication that they have among each other is very open, very clear, very confident. There's a lot of clarity in the role, and of course, the continuous learning never stops.
So, this diagram that we see here. So, for example, the resilience aspect. So,
Mm-hmm.
if any of them were stuck on a particular sum, I would tell them it's okay, continue. At max, what will happen? We'll have to scratch the sum and we'll have to start again. That is
Yeah.
the max that can happen. It's not like it's going to be the end of the world. That is not the case. We are just going to scratch that paper, move on to the next one. That is all. So I think that also gives them a confidence that it's okay. No
Mhm.
problem. I'll make.
These are very minute clues that you are creating that psychological safe space for the students. It's not that student, if you have four students, A, B, C, and D, if the student D heard you talking the same thing, it's okay to make mistakes. Max, we have to use another page. It's okay. It's although you had a conversation with student A, but then the student D is equally impacted with what you spoke. And the understanding is, even if I make a mistake like this, our teacher is going to be the same. She's going to tell me the same. So I can make a mistake, and it's okay to make a mistake. Yeah. So these are the spaces that we create for the people in our community, people in our group, people in our teams. And yeah, it can never be in one day, one shot. It is an eventual thing. It is not just one action, but something that we do every day, every minute, through our actions, through our beliefs, and um, that's why even the purpose or any three skills that the author spoke about, they all pinpoint about the towards the same thing, that be open, be clear, and share where you are standing right now. With that, I would love you to take a quiz. This, if you scan this QR code, this will take you to Daniel Coyle's website. He has an amazing quiz to understand your involvement in, or what are your strengths or areas of improvements of be participating or building a, culture high in culture communities or groups of teams, and it will give you the even the free version will give you some amazing results that you can read and look at a little later, maybe after the session. Would love for all of you to take the quiz. When you are done and when you have results, please save the results. Sometimes they go away if you refresh the phone's page.
I got the result.
Done.
Lovely. So it will give you some ways how you can engage more with the cultures that you are involved in or the teams you are involved in. And yeah, you can probably use the knowledge from the book and the quiz to merge them together and come up with something. Yeah, with that, I want to show something very amazing uh, that the author talks about in his website, not exactly in the book, but then in his website. He speaks that this all it goes round in circles. Yeah, you do the effort to build safety for people to speak up, make mistakes, and all the things. Eventually, in case you don't know what to do, don't know which path to take, you have made a mistake, share your vulnerability, which again adds on to build the safety. With this circle, you will continue to get a lot of stories of successes, of failures, of what you learned, what you missed, and of your experiences. And that's the story you want to tell people, because these stories have a lot of inspiration from people to learn from. And these are the exact stories that he had used in his book as an example of whatever he researched on various groups. And this brings us to the end of the session. I would love to hear if you have any questions regarding this book or the points that we have discussed. What you have gone through today is mostly the combination of the leadership code and the culture code, because culture code only spoke about um, what we what are the three traits. But then I also wanted to come up with the solutions, how to inculcate them, get those traits within us. So I picked up some snippets from the book and added it here. Would love to hear any questions, any thoughts, any feedback. Request you to please scan the QR code and share your feedback. It is very, very important to us while we share our takeaways that we are going to take back from this session. And I would love to hear from all of you.
Ishita, when
Yes,
we
Rishita.
spoke about a topic where uh, showing vulnerability of ourselves might increase or might open up the space for our team members to put in or to own their mistakes, right? Let's say I have got a new team now, and I see few people I have observed, like even though I'm trying to set up an open space, they are hesitant to open up or to own their mistake. So, and when I connected later one on one with them, I understood like they had some past experience which is still settled in their consciousness, so they are very conscious about their work, and they usually are not okay to say it's not okay. um, yeah, so how are we going to break that consciousness from their head, like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first thing that you may want to understand is this actually takes time.
Mhm.
Um, this is this is a process, a circle that has to be continuously done to for the change to be visible. Like Asavari was mentioning, that this is very intangible thing.
Hmm.
You may not be able to just figure out in one shot, but you can feel the things, feel the temperature around the people who are culturally inclined with each other. Yeah, coming to your examples, my recommendation would be to continue being open to conversation. Um, I know you have mentioned that you have been asking a lot of open ended questions.
Mm-hmm.
Continue that. You may also want to ask for feedback. How does it sound like?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to share when I say this? What do you think? What do you feel?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think I can improve on this? this is also adding to the second skill that the author talks about, uh, sharing your vulnerability. Um, you may also have to check your body language, your feelings, your um, closeness, of how open you are, how close you are, while asking such questions or while asking for feedback. Because it's very natural for many people, or most of us actually, to not be able to ask such a question uh, to somebody who is less experienced, younger, or new in the system. So sometimes it does create that kind of impact. Try this again and see if that works. I would also love to hear from others if they have any other thoughts.
Ishita, it does take time. And sometimes trying to move people forward when they are high on emotions may not lead them anywhere. Maybe they need to go through that emotion, deal with it before an action can be taken. So when I am very angry or upset, I know I can't take action. The thoughts, or somebody said this or somebody didn't do this, I think that goes on in my head. And when there are people who will say, move on, get over it, this happens, I think that irritates me more than the actual incident. Well, don't tell me move on, don't tell me get on with it. I am really upset right now. Sometimes after being upset for a couple of hours, I feel much better, as if I've done my due diligence ho gaya, now I can move on. So I think it's also sometimes about just waiting it out for that emotion to pass before you help them move forward.
Very, very nice thought here.
Just want to add on to this. I think sometimes also not during the moment, but post that, also letting them know of the mistakes that you have probably made in your careers starting, and what you did probably to overcome it. So that can also act as an inspiring thing, and also letting them know that it is very human to make mistakes, but we all eventually learn and move forward.
Yeah.
So I think that could also help.
Even with that, we are kind of sharing our vulnerability for others to open up. Lovely, lovely. Would love to hear your takeaway, people. Let's hear from the people who haven't shared anything yet. Sneha, would love to hear your takeaways from this session.
Hello. Sorry, yeah, it was an insightful session. I mean, I'm looking for, I haven't read the book. I look forward to read it. I think, yeah, one of the interesting thing was like you mentioned, sometimes we see things and we should respect to the tenure, and yeah, I think the feedback thing is very important. Sometimes people grow in their designations, but they are not open to feedback, probably some
Yeah.
anonymous feedback or something which can help them. It was good.
For,
Yeah. Yeah.
for those people's growth, they have to understand, they have to take not just the seniors' feedback, but then from their peers, from their juniors. In fact, this is beautifully explained in one of the book I was reading maybe a few months ago, where they say that how important it is to have a circle who criticizes you constantly, who know who you are, who know you for a longer time. They have seen your struggles, they have seen you growing, and if they give you their genuine feedback without sugarcoating, because there's nothing at stake, nothing that there's nothing that they will lose if you feel bad from their radical candor, if I can use the word. uh, so yeah, lovely share. Sharadi, would love to hear from you.
It was a really wonderful session, and I don't really know how to express what I need to, but I know that, like, realistically, one day I'll end up in an organization, the kind we're talking about. It may not have a great culture, it might, but I think my generation in general has a very low tolerance for things that aren't like setting the benchmark for good things, like a really strong culture, right?
Hmm.
And it makes me kind of worried how I like cope with if I end up in a place that may or may not have a great culture. Because where I'm at right now, like, has set a very high benchmark for me for the kind of very nurturing environment and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. And it probably takes one person to start having a culture like this. It can even start with you if you feel that, okay, I want to build a culture like this. You have the tools. It's just, it will just take a decision from you that, yes, I want to build this culture. And that would happen certainly. Thank you for the share, Sharadi. Srividya, what is your one, two takeaways that you're taking back from this session?
Um, One thing is now I'm interested in reading the book, so I'll add to my list. And second thing is, um, you know, we know that setting up the culture is important, and as you said, rightly said, that we can be the beginner for that. Also, I from our discussion that happened so far, I also learned that you can impose this on other people also. It need not be it need not stay within your limits. So imposing is also very important because it helps spread across a very strong platform.
It's kind of contagious. You do, others will replicate, eventually replicate, may not be for the first time, but they will be there where you are.
True.
Beautiful. Thank you, Srividya.
Thank you.
Asavari, would love to hear from you.
I'd summarize it in a couple of lines, my takeaway, which is culture is not about what you say you will do, it is about what you do. That has been
Yes.
my.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. That answers a lot of questions that we all had throughout the session in just a couple of lines. Beautiful, Asavari. Thank you.
Thank you.
Akansha.
Um, I think I would also, like Asavdi, just want to say one line that is, be the change you want to see. So if I want to see that kind of culture, I think I should first be that person holding those values of the culture.
Hmm. Honestly, being the first person may not bring a greater change, but you will certainly start seeing some changes across some peoples around you. At least that is certainly going to happen. Thank you, Akansha.
Thank you.
Shanti ma'am, what is your biggest takeaway from this session?
I'm also going to read in both the books, Leadership Code and the Culture Code. Um, what stood for me that it's not very difficult to build culture. They're all small things, just that it's a conscious, deliberate effort, but doable.
Conscious, deliberate effort. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you so much. When I read the book, my biggest takeaway was, this is something I know, but have I done it? No, I haven't. So, yeah, like how we all of us shared that, yes, we will start taking a one step at a time, but we will start doing it. With that, we are ready to wrap the session, but I would love to hear from you if you want to share about this session, if you want to write about this session, about your learnings, your takeaways from LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, please do tag me. I love to hear the takeaways from the participants. I love to see them, see various perspectives of one session that probably wasn't in my head that this is what I'm going to deliver, but we get to hear so many different angles of one simple topic. And Please do tag us, Grow with Satori, and me. I'll be more than happy to like, share, comment for a better reach. Thank you so much for your time, people. And for the next month's book read, we will meet soon. Here are the links and the QR code where you can stay connected with us. And let's keep in touch. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.